going on, YouTube? Welcome to WeSibs, West Coast, East Coast siblings. You know what time it is. It's Sunday night, and that means we're talking about Snowpiercer. Tonight we got episode 6. I'm here with my boy Zach from the basement with Zach. Before we get started talking about the 3 biggest takeaways from the episode, be sure to subscribe to both channels so you don't miss an episode, as they're literally going back and forth. One episode will be on the Ledger, the next will be on WeSibs. Let's dive in. First takeaway, which is the whole train derailing.
Last episode was very intense. That's on my channel in the Ledger, Basement with Zach. Me and Chris talked about that last week, and just a whole lot was lined up. Uprisings, civil war, etc. And then on top of it, full 2020 on the entire train, Snowpiercer. They get derailed. Well, they don't get derailed. They almost get derailed. It was a very suspenseful episode, but it just segued everything.
Yeah, now let me ask you this. What was that stuff that was dripping down that caused that electrical problem? Do you know what that was?
Battery acid? I think it was battery acid.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, I mean, to me, that's a little not satisfying that it was just this random happening. You figure a train that has been on the road for 7 years and done multiple laps around the earth, you think that they would have, you know, more security or cameras at least so they could see the problem before it happened.
I thought it might have been a 30 thing.
A what?
Like a 30 on purpose, because, you know, they were threatening that they were going to mess with the train and have it work.
Yeah, you're right. But you know what? This is kind of what's blowing my mind about the whole revolt in the first place, which, by the way, at the end of the episode ends up being, you know, paused because they survived. But, you know, my whole thing is, what is your end goal? If your goal is to take over the train, why would you destroy the train? They inflicted catastrophic damage on the train.
They said something about it in the beginning, when they were bringing up the revolt and they were handing out pamphlets and everything. They're like, why do a strike? It's gonna kill them. And they're putting the gun to their own head. They want power that badly, kind of thing. So it's kind of like, you know, die on your feet, then live on your knees.
But guys, that brings us to big takeaway number 2, which is the big one. Wilford is revealed to be fake. Now, this has huge implications. Does this mean that this is completely in a different reality than the Chris Evans Snowpiercer movie?
I think there is still a possibility that real Wilford has her as an assistant Wilford, and maybe he is off on his private island car or something, and then she's, you know, being Wilford. Because she said she designed it, but... See, they're saying that she's Wilford, but there's still, I think, a possibility that real Wilford still exists. It's just shrinking.
Right, and this throws up a whole bunch of questions. It really does. Like, number one, if it was fake, was it always fake? Because you have Wilford logos and everything all over the train. Has anyone ever seen Wilford? Even when building up to the thing, you figure before all this disaster happened, he must have been publicly known.
Yeah. And if she is the real Wilford, you know, if it isn't a guy, then why hide behind a guy? Because it's only been 7 years. People are still remembering their past lives. It's not like you have to hide behind a male persona.
Well, you know what? I think it's less so male or female. I think it's more that when you have somebody who's untouchable, then you can never see fear in their eyes or uncertainty. Yeah. You have representatives and they can be shaken up, but Wilford is that strong, never, you know, shaken type of character. But whether he is or isn't, it's revealed that he's fake. And even Leighton ended up saying he was made up as a way to keep people calm. But I'm figuring, when was this made up? Was it made up before they ever embarked? Or was it made up sometime? Did Wilford pass away?
One thing that hit me, I'm sorry to cut you off like this, but when they were talking about the third revolts, right? And they threatened them to replace the 30s with the tailies. They said that there are 400 tailies back there. 400, not 40. I thought 40 maybe, 40 tops, maybe 60. But they said 400.
400. And that just goes to show that this is a big train. It's 1,001 cars long. But going back to the kind of the issue that Wilford is fake now, where do we go from here? Because we have to ask ourselves, is there any way that this could be the Chris Evans Snowpiercer? And I'm just going to say I don't think so. I've given up my hope on it, and I'm kind of okay with it because at this point, the show has shown me enough where I'm like, okay, if it never ends up being that,
I'm happy. Yeah, I'm happy with this alter Gotham world thing. See, I did have one theory, right? If they were to have, if not Chris Evans, but a Curtis character, they can just get a guy who looks like him, or a guy who doesn't look like him. You know, they can just say, and here's Curtis. Yeah, like you said, it's another world, which I think is good because we don't know what's going to happen. You know, the train could derail now, and other things could happen. You know, the tailies could just revolt, and instead of blowing up the train like in the movie, they just take it for themselves and survive.
There's so many directions it could go, but definitely that's one we want to know down in the comments, so join the conversation.
Third takeaway, everybody. We talked about Miles a little bit before. I thought that they were going to kill him off for character development for Andre, but Andre's going to remain very stale and boring Chris to death. And Miles is going to become a top engineer on Snowpiercer, adding him to the opposition, which I kind of prefer. I like this a lot better.
Yeah, you know what? This is huge. And just real quickly on the Andre thing, yeah, sorry, I'm still not sold on him. He's just not, he's not that guy. But it's okay because the potential of this, Miles could not, I think Melanie sees Miles as her successor. I think she's going to groom him, and we even saw as much in the trailer previews that she's like, once you do this, there's no going back. I think she's going to groom him to be that Wilford character. We've already seen he's the smartest dude on the train, probably.
You just said something. You said that she was grooming him to be the successor, and she gave him that engineer thing, right? Calculator?
Yeah.
Yeah, she gave him that. And what did she say? She said, Mr. Wilford gave this to me.
I think he died.
Did he die?
I think he died because check this out. That would make the most sense. It would allow the whole Wilford brand to be on the train for people to have seen him before the error. It would have been such a dangerous thing for him to die during the 7 years that they were on the train because it would have been a revolt. People would have lost their minds. So he gives the caliper or whatever, you know, the token of leadership to Melanie. She's been running the train, not letting people know that Wilford is dead. And now she has chosen her successor. But real quick, I think this is great because in my mind, Andre Layton is no longer the main character. It's all about Miles and what he's going to do, to me.
I can see that. I can see where it's about Melanie more now. Because Andre, he was kind of forgotten this episode. They didn't focus on him. I feel like he just started for the murder thing to think, ooh, it's a cop show on a train. And now it's Snowpiercer, political turmoil, and equal rights.
Exactly, and I like that because, you know what, Andre's relevance was only as far as the murder was concerned.
Speaking of fan favorites, I'm going to offer up kind of a fourth takeaway. And that's just setting up this next episode. Because this episode, I'm going to say, it was a bit of a filler episode just because it was a pause and gave everybody time to rethink for the upcoming revolts. Because the rich people who weren't shown are still planning their own revolt. The third class, once all this blows over, are still planning a revolt. And then the tailies, who don't even have Andre anymore. I don't even know who's leading them anymore, but they're still planning that revolt because they're still passing the pill around, the key to the train. And a lot of them are unraveling. Some people, you know, you see Miles, you see Melanie, and they're getting their cool back, you know, they're getting collected again, but other people are snapping.
You know what this show has been? It's been a gradual pulling back of a slingshot. And the tension keeps getting, and you're like, okay, they're going to let it go now. This episode, I thought everything was going to start going downhill because of everything that they had built up to. But no, they pulled it back just a little bit further to get that tension, you know, to crazy levels.
And there's just a lot of people to expand on further. And like you said with Andre, his purpose is kind of fulfilled at this point. He's just crazy. He could die at the end of this season, and I think the show would continue on as, you know.
Yeah, I think the show would be fine. They've already set up kind of the next generation.
Speaking of the next generation, there's a baby coming.
Yes, oh my God. Yeah, so Zara was revealed to be pregnant with Andre's baby. Remember, they had a little canoodling. And so now that's going to get... It was either Zara or who's the other... Because he got two girls on the train. Oh, boy.
Yeah. And then they smushed too, so there might be two babies.
That's true. See, Andre's a mess. They need to kill him off. But we'll see. Maybe he'll redeem himself. But let us know. We're going to get into a giveaway in a second, so stay tuned. But before we do that, let us know down in the comments, obviously, what you thought of these 3 big takeaways. And as we go into possibly the last month of the show, the last 4 episodes, let us know what your predictions are. But with that, Zach's going to talk about a giveaway.
Over on the Larquente Ledger, Under the Basement with Zach, me and Chris made a little episode that wasn't so little, where we just discussed the climate of Marvel, everything that's coming, everything that's going on, and in that video, we have a free giveaway for you. You see this? This is the Black Panther, King T'Challa himself, and you can win this.
Guys, you only have a couple days left. It's 10 days from the release of the video, so go there, give your top 10 characters that you would propose for the new Avengers in Phase 4 and beyond, and the comment with the most likes is going to get this for free. We'll reach out to you, we'll get in contact, and you will get this King T'Challa Black Panther pop. It's going to be dope.
Exclusive, might I add. Exclusive, written all over.
Yeah, so we'll put a link to the video down below so you guys can jump right over there and get into this giveaway before it ends. But with that, guys, we're going to wrap up this episode. Those are our 3 biggest takeaways from Snowpiercer Episode 6. Let us know what you think down in the conversation below. Also, be sure to like the video if you like the video. Subscribe and click that bell so you don't miss a single episode. Again, subscribe to the Larquente Ledger and WeSibs so you don't miss an episode, as next week's episode will be on the Larquente Ledger. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to Zach from the Basement with Zach for showing up, making this awesome. And we will see you in the next one.
Gotta turn back.
See ya.